Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you come to learn the most efficient and powerful ways to grow their firm, sharpen their sales skills, and have consistent increasing revenue. We cover topics from sales, networking, handling objections, negotiation, pricing, finding those ideal clients, and how to get rid of the ones that just don't suit you and how to set those boundaries so you can stop giving away your time, working for free, putting yourself on sale, and really start to get paid for the value and the worth that you bring to your clients. You'll learn tips, strategies, as well as hear others from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Our special guest is a client here at the Abundant Accountant and owns a CPA firm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He has over 35 years of experience in tax and accounting, and his practice has 4 employees with over 450 individual and business return clients annually. Him and his wife live in Tennessee, and they have 2 adult children and also 2 grandkids. But before we welcome our special guests to the show today, if you're an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner and you've wanted to stop trading time for dollars, let go of overly demanding clients, and actually get paid based on your value and worth, while still massively boosting your revenue, here at the Abundant Accountant, I will show you the system to fill your firm with ideal clients who value your time so you can catapult your firm to the next level and work the hours you want to work while still having plenty of free time every single week for your family. Not only that, but I'm also going to show you how to do all of this in a way that feels simple, effortless, and automatic. If you want me to show you exactly how to do this, go to theabundantcall.com right now and book a call with me and my team. Once again, that's theabundantcall.com. Now let's welcome our very special guest, Tommy Taylor, to the show. Welcome, Tommy, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your story and share your wisdom with other firm owners that might want to be like you. They've had their firms for over 20, 30 years, or maybe they're just starting out and don't want to make the same mistakes as you. But before we dive in to one of our special case study interviews with a lovely, amazing client here of the Abundant Accountant, Tommy, why don't you share with everyone where you are in the country and what does your firm specialize in?
Well, we are in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we service both Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama primarily, but we have several other states as well. We primarily work with individuals and small businesses. We do bookkeeping, a little bit of that, mainly a tax practice.
Okay, great. And before you found the Abundant Accountant, what was life like in your firm? What had you try to go seek something different?
In some ways, it was miserable, would be the word I would use. We were chasing our tail and not really making any money. We were working ridiculous hours and just didn't enjoy the firm at all.
That doesn't sound like a very fun experience. And since you've been doing this for over 35 years and having your firm, I think you wanted to enjoy it and have joy again. So, Tommy, can you share, how did you find the Abundant Accountant? And what was that like when you went on your search and for your hunt for a change?
We'd been hunting for a change on and off for a couple of years, and we tripped over Michelle and her business. I think it was an email. Actually, it was Nate Haggerty.
Okay.
We use his website. We've used him for several years, and I came across Michelle, and I said, this is different. I want to see what they're about. So I contacted her, and it was like my eyes opened. It was like, wow. I've never thought about this before, and I understand what she's bringing to the table.
Oh, that's awesome. And what was, now looking back, probably a year, so Tommy has done our 8-week sales mastery training, has done our ongoing coaching, and now he's in our Abundant Millionaire Mastermind. and really still investing in coaching around sales and the way that you do your whole front end process from the time you get a lead in your firm to the time you get paid. What were the things that maybe actually, Tommy, you tried before you found me? And why did those solutions not work?
Well, most of them I was just rehashing the same thing over and over again. You try to be more uh, efficient and you get that, but that doesn't bring any more dollars in and it still doesn't affect, there are pick clients that should be charged more and you just don't know how to go about charging them more. That was
Mhm.
just a fear of losing too many clients by raising fees.
Yeah. And, in the last year, you've made a bunch of changes. What was that moment that you decided to do something about your biggest fear? Like as if you kind of hit rock bottom and you could no longer continue the way things were going. Share with us that story.
Yeah, I did not have a good year one year. I just was not happy with my net income and I'd worked way too many hours for that money. And I said, I've got to change something. So when I came across Michelle, I looked at, uh, did the work, did a letter about raising my prices. I felt comfortable with it. I actually wanted to lose some clients. It's kind of an odd thing to say because I needed some capacity.
Yeah.
And everything that I tried that she's put forth to me has worked exactly what they said it would work. I didn't lose as much as I wanted to lose, but I got paid more money. So I really wasn't going to complain about that. Now I've been able to hire someone. So that's going to help hire an additional person, get up to 4 full-time employees besides myself. So that's going to give me some confidence going into this year. I will not be working myself to death. In fact, we've instituted a 50-hour ban on work per week.
I love the band. That's great. Yeah. And, I think you hit on a few good points. So I'd like to dive a little bit deeper, Tommy, into those. One of the points you said is that everything that you tried that I suggested and in our coaching and in our teaching, it worked. And you gave it that go. If you could share what that experience is like, because there's a lot of firm owners we talk to that have done a lot of other programs, they've had other coaching. And probably the biggest thing I hear is I never got a return on that investment. I'm terrified to try something different. What made our approach better and different than other approaches you've tried in the past? And how much revenue have you gained from doing the things that we've suggested and you implementing the work and actually doing all of it?
Okay, I think there's several questions there. The first one really is I never really valued my services. I just said, hey, this is what I did last year. Inflation's 5%, I'll go up 5%.
Mm.
I never really thought about I started way too low to start with. And I'm valuing my services. When you gave me an exercise to look at that, I went, I've got a lot of experience. And then I had clients that tell me, yeah, we come to you because you've been around the block several times. The gray hair is an indicator. But I kept falling flat on my face every time I tried to raise prices, and I was afraid, how do I word this? How do I tell a client that
Mm-hmm.
I've been charging $400 a year, that his fee is going to be $800 next year, without looking like an idiot or
Yeah.
losing every client I've got? I thought they would all leave. And when I wrote the letter with your coaching, like I said, uh, I lost clients, but I was hoping to lose some for capacity. I was very happy with the ones that stayed. Don't get me wrong. I'm very thankful for each one of them. But it was quite scary to do that. You gave me the confidence not only in the value in my service, but also in how to communicate. And to me, that's
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing is communicating to your clients
Yeah.
why your fees are what they are and what you can do for them and what you will not do for them. That's additionally just as important.
Yeah. And what were your immediate results that you've seen financially in your firm? And I understand it's gone up because you were able to hire another full time person. And I know there's firm owners listening. And I was just talking to one of our other clients, Tommy, this morning, and she wants to be able to pay her staff more. She wants to maybe hire someone of a higher level and get rid of someone who's kind of a bottleneck in her firm. but it's always like, I just don't have money on, I don't even know how I'm going to pay payroll right now. So I can't make those shifts. Yet when we increase our revenue and we have that ability for increased profitability, now you can afford someone amazing and take some of that pressure off your shoulders and put the 50-hour ban in your firm any time of year. You're not working 15, 20-hour days anymore. So, can you share with us, Tommy, some of the financial immediate results that you experienced in your firm so far?
Well, the immediate result was more revenue, two ways. One, I started collecting some of the bad debts, as I like to call them, receivables. I collected almost everything that was owed. I've still got just a few out there, but they're
What was
very
that
manageable.
total?
I was probably about $45,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
I have a little bit left, but they'll pay as they bring their stuff in this year. They all said they would, and I'm not overly concerned about that. Some of these I've been doing for 4 and 5 years. Uh, those, it's just a case of taking the time to make a payment. They're distracted. I'm not worried about those, but the big thing is I went from collecting, say, I probably collected about 50% more. The revenue went up about 30% for the year for billing from 21 to, let's see, 22 to 23. The billing went up over 35%.
Wow. And what did that equate to dollar wise? So you collected 45,000 of accounts receivable and total revenue increase with less clients was what?
Just under $100,000.
That's incredible. So yeah, you can definitely hire someone and take some of that burden off your shoulders and not feel like everything is weighing on you. And I'd love it if you can share, Tommy, what have you done personally? I mean, you've been on so many vacations, you've seen so much of your family. I would love it if you could share how all of these changes have had an impact on your life in general.
Well, the biggest, I have a son that lives overseas, so we go visit him. We go visit him for about 15 to 18 days at a time. We got to do that this past year and not worry about where the money is going to be when I come back. That was really nice.
Yeah.
And then also we had a couple other vacations and short trips and spent time with my family. I lost my mother-in-law this past year and was able to spend some extra time with my wife on that. And just time away from the practice has increased. It will increase even more this year with the addition of another person. Um, and I believe the growth in the practice this year is enough to pay for her.
Mm, yeah. That's so amazing. And I'm so proud of all of the work that you've done. What are some of the lessons that you've learned being in our 8-week sales mastery training, being in our ongoing coaching, and now in our higher level mastermind? What are some of those lessons, those key things that you've learned that were those aha moment and light bulb moments that you believe each other firm owner who's either starting out that doesn't want to make the same mistakes that you had, or maybe they've had their firm 20, 30 years and not enjoying it anymore?
Yeah, the first thing that probably this is going to sound funny, but the first thing I learned was the clients that I did not want to take on, and some of the clients I didn't want to have, not because they were bad people. I think it was just I would rather do 4 or 5 things 100 times than 100 things 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
That freed up a lot of times. I didn't have to study on how to do this return because I just didn't do those returns anymore.
Love
We
it.
basically had a red rope and said, if you don't meet this criteria, we will not work with you.
Mm-hmm.
If we know someone else in our profession locally that does that, we refer them to them because we want to help the people, but we just don't want to be the one doing the return because that's not what we want to do. We could pick and choose our own clients to some degree. And that was eye-opening. That made life a lot easier.
Yeah. And not only making it easier, but just having you feel that freedom and peace. You know, you're just so chill now instead of stressed out. And I think that goes to show that, yes, putting in this hard work for a short period of time has a significant payoff. And I would love it if you could share the journey of making the decision to do something different. What were some of your initial skepticisms like, but you overcame them being that this sounded too good to be true in the beginning, or you know,
Yeah, there were several things that sounded too good to be true. When you said increase the revenue by a large percent, basically double, and I thought, yeah, right.
uh,
But if you communicate what you're doing for your clients and communicate them, you're going to lose some. That's okay. But you don't lose very many. I mean, reality, we lost quite a bit less than we wanted to lose. And we actually worked a little extra hours, but we made enough money with the revenue we expect to gain this year in new clients should be to pay for that new person. I'm hoping that I get down to 50 to 55 hours a week instead of
yes,
75 like last year.
yes,
But the thing about it, I was making money last year, so 75 didn't seem so bad when you're
when
making
you're making
100,000
money.
more than you made the year before.
Yeah. What were some of your other initial skepticisms? I know we met through Nate, but some people meet us through a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad and they don't know us. And we hear all the time, Tommy, you know, it maybe they want to go do some more research, or this sounds like a scam, or it, like you said, it sounded too good to be true for you. Like what had you made what had you make that decision to take the plunge and make the change and get past the skepticism that you could share with another firm owner that might be thinking about wanting to make the change, but there's this coach, there's that coach, there's so much out there and there's so much noise. How are you able to sift through that for yourself?
That is a tough question because you do things and you don't remember every reason why you did it. But at the same time, uh, you're really the confidence you exuded. That was good. The literature that I read was good, and I thought this is a process I had not tried. Like I said, I tried to be more efficient. I tried to get more clients, and if you get more of something that's taking more hours and not paying, it doesn't help. So I thought raising the fees was my only choice, one, to reduce my client load so I could afford to live. And if I got more money out of it, that was even better. So, I mean, the only thing I really kind of took a lot of it on faith, and I was correct. What you say, you do.
Oh, thank you, Tommy. And I think at some point in your career, we do have to rely on our faith or that gut instinct that you feel, because there is a lot of noise. It's similar to probably you meeting other clients in your area and they're price shopping, or they're like, well, this firm said this. And, there's a lot of hearsay. And I think there's got to be some point where you do a gut check and you say, I'm either going to continue to suffer or I'm going to get real transformation and make a difference for me in my life. And like you said, you made an extra 100,000 and you collected 45,000 of that bad debt that a lot of people think they're never going to get paid, but you did. And now you're also, I think you forgot a big part. You're getting paid up front right now for everything that you do going forward. So there will never be AR in your firm again. And I think that's a huge, I mean, these are massive changes to the way you've been doing things for pretty much your whole career, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a whole new mindset. It's yeah, we're thinking go left, and sometimes you end up going right. I mean, sometimes it's that big. Other times it's just refining what you were thinking. But
Mm-hmm.
the whole sales process, you bring instruction to us to where when we get our CPA and we get our accounting degree in college, sales is they take that part of our brain out of our head or something. We just don't think that way.
Yeah. Well, and it's just not taught. And it's honestly, it's not your fault. But the beautiful thing is that when you have a system to follow, like you now have, Tommy, you just follow, like, what did you say earlier? You're willing to do something a few times, but you're not willing to do something 100 times the wrong way. How did that go?
Yeah, we're trying to reduce some of the services that we do. We've got clients we've done for 10 years, and trying to get them to leave and trying to find homes for them is difficult a little bit. However, it's a whole lot better than trying to continue to do one-offs, a
Yeah.
specific thing, where we might do their individual and a couple of things. We don't do this and that. And those one-offs take a lot more time. There's a lot more stress. I don't feel like I do the clients justice sometimes. I know we're going to get it right because we spend the time to get it right, but something that should take me 2 hours takes 7 or 8 hours. And I
Yeah.
just assume someone else have that revenue and me have about another 7 hours to work on a client that will provide me revenue that I would prefer.
Yeah. And your sales process now in your firm is that same thing. Now you have repeatable steps to follow instead of just kind of winging it and flying, from one meeting to the next. And that's why you have the results that you have. It's similar to how you're making decisions based on those ideal clients that you want to work with. So thank you for sharing that, Tommy. Being a part of the Abundant Accountant family, how does that make you feel?
It's really nice because you can bounce things off other people,
Mm-hmm.
everything from software to what was your mindset on this sale and how to, we listen to how to improve our sales techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And little things like that, really, it doesn't sound like much till you're in the middle of it and you go, wow, I really learned a lot. And I can apply this. This is not something just pie in the sky. This is actually practical. And it's been very good for me. Uh, Last year, I had someone call at the beginning of tax season, right after we did the price increase letter,
Uh-huh.
in which I would have there was two different businesses, and I would have thought, oh, I would have quoted them basically 25% more than having just one business. And I quoted them at full rate on both of them. And the guy said, I'll have the stuff to you tomorrow. And that was nice
Yeah.
uh, to get twice the revenue, almost twice the revenue I would have even thought. That was even after raising the prices.
Wow.
I didn't realize I could give them full because they were two separate businesses and they really needed separate prices, but I didn't have to have that business, but I got it.
So amazing. I'm so proud of it, proud of you, and just the courage that it took to make these changes. And now you get to see all of the fruits of your labor. So, Tommy, what words of wisdom do you have for people that might be listening right now to your story and where you are now versus where you were before and having your firm for so long and being frustrated and angry and resenting your clients and thinking that 5% inflation was going to get you to where you wanted, but now having that ability to hire someone full time and have the freedom to go visit your son and be gone for 15, 18 days, not worry about where that revenue is coming from, and just have that peace of mind and ease that you have today. What words of wisdom do you have for those firm owners who own a bookkeeping firm, an accounting or tax firm that you would love to share with them going through this experience and also being in their shoes?
My biggest thing is don't be afraid to make a change. If you continue to do the same thing over and over and expect different results, they're just not going to happen. So don't be afraid to make a change. I mean, do your due diligence, make sure you're doing the right thing. But I think Michelle is her plan works, and I can't vouch for anybody else's because I've never had another one work. But this one worked. It gave me the courage to make the price increase, but also it gave me the way to communicate with clients where I get new clients. I get the ones I want, and I can
Mm-hmm.
weed out the ones that are going to be headaches.
And before we wrap up, Tommy, what's in store for the future of your firm now? How do you see things transpiring in the next year, two or three? And what do you envision now that you have that ability to even see past today?
Well, we'll continue the clients that we have, and they'll have an increase of some sort each year. But our big goal is our new 1040. We have minimum billings.
Mm-hmm.
And a good example in 21 before Michelle, it was $400 for a new client. That was the minimum billing. And even that got broke quite a bit. Last year we did 900 and we broke it maybe twice. And this year it's 1200. And
Minimum for a 1240 or
right,
1040.
that's for
Mm-hmm.
1040. So there's some that we don't take, but that's okay. Uh,
Yeah.
why would we take a $300 1040 that's going to take us an hour and a half when we can do a 1200 one in 3 hours?
Yep.
It doesn't make good sense, good business sense. So we've made that change, and that's been a huge help for us. So going forward, we want to continue to raise the minimum billing. The goal is to have average 1040 billing at over $1,000 by the end of next year.
Isn't it
Uh,
at 1200 right now?
1200, yes. but
So
it's
over
the
what?
minimum.
Oh, got
We,
it.
we have some that are still grandfathered in because we're not the little old lady that's you can't. It's you. All she's got's a small thing, but you've been doing a return, or your predecessor's been doing a
So
return for 60 years. You're not going to kick them to the curb.
you have a small percent of your firm as pro bono and you'll keep them where they were at, but everybody new will be coming in at this. So I love that. And one last question, Tommy. What does your wife feel about all of this and all the changes you made and now that she gets to see you a lot more and your grandkids too?
Well, they seem to like it. They hadn't got mad at me yet for being around. But at the same time, I think the big thing she says, I can't wait to see how this new person works. Actually, she's the one that brought the lady to my office because we've both known her for years. I did not realize that she was working in public accounting. I didn't realize that. She'd been back in public accounting a few years. We ran into her, and this was a real blessing.
Mm, love it. Well, Tommy, I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your story here on the Abundant Accountant podcast. And I can't wait to see how much you grow and how this new person works out. And maybe you taking off 4 times a year to go see your son overseas. So thank you again for taking out the time, sharing your journey and everything with another firm owner that might be in your same shoes.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you all so much for joining Tommy and I here on another wonderful episode here at the Abundant Accountant podcast. I always love having our current clients and past clients share their stories with you because you're not alone. You know, sometimes you've got all this work piling up. You've got all these low value clients just like Tommy had. And I think you all wish it could just maybe all disappear one day. And then every year you dread the busy season around April, around October, and it feels like you barely see your family for months at a time. And you might be like Tommy too, and finding yourself responding to emails and taking work calls on the weekend just to kind of get your head above water. If that sounds like you, I have really good news because none of those things are really your true problem. The real problem is that you just don't have a system for working with your ideal clients, increasing your revenue, and gaining back your freedom and your time. Same problem Tommy had. I will give you that system that will allow you to gain back your freedom, grow your firm, and enjoy work and family without working long hours, without stressful tax seasons, or even having to hound clients for paperwork and chase AR ever again. So if you're feeling like Tommy did, where everything depended on you right now and everything falls on your shoulders, I get it. But this is the same system that I have shown hundreds of firm owners just like you use to create the firm they have always wanted to have. If you want me to show you exactly how to do this, just like I showed Tommy, go to theabundantcall.com right now and book your call with me and my team. We would love to explore what is possible with you. Once again, go to theabundantcall.com and book your time right now. Thank you so much for joining us and have a beautiful day.